It was a beautiful day. The magenta sky was free of clouds. Paka, my Vopiline, was pouncing on tiger mice and letting out trills of joy, and I was standing on a branch in my Blapple tree, a rope tied tightly around my waist so I wouldn't plummet to my doom, picking Blapples and placing them in a basket I had over my arm. As I was humming Even Flow by Pearl Jam, I heard Paka give an angry growl, and looking over, I saw him fly with his little wings up into the tree and through an open window of my house. Perplexed, I looked below me, and standing at the base of the tree was a black blob. I'm practically blind without my glasses. However, I knew who it was once I heard her speak.
"Ray!"
shouted Anatir, her voice echoing in an unnatural way.
"Ray! Hey! Ray!"
"What?" I shouted back, feeling a bit miffed.
"Can I come over?"
Anna yelled up. "No," I said, "I'm busy."
"But I want to come over!"
"Go away, Anna!" Without waiting for a response, I carefully walked across the branch to my giant non-toxic mushroom house. I untied my rope from my waist, dropped it in a bucket next to a pole the other end was attached to, and brought my basket of Blapples inside. "It's okay, Paka," I cooed, who was snuggled up against my couch pillow, which had Pinkie Pie's cutie mark on it. Paka never really liked Anatir because she pets him too roughly, so he always ends up growling at her and hiding in my house somewhere. Just then, my door opened again, and Anatir poked her head in. After spotting me, she gave a great squeak of a giggle and hopped right into my living room. "I told you no!" I exclaimed exasperatedly.
"Yeah, but I came up anyway."
I considered opening my door and literally kicking her out, but instead I sighed and walked to my kitchen with my basket.
"Hi, Paka!"
I heard her squeal, and Paka growled again, probably flying up to my bedroom. "Anna, don't bug him!" I scolded as Anatir came into the kitchen.
"What you doing?"
she asked, completely ignoring me. Rolling my eyes, I started punching out the cores of the Blapples with a handy little device I kept on my counter. "I'm gonna make some Blapple Pie," I murmured emotionlessly.
"I want some of your pie,"
she replied. "Oh, ha ha." Though she was being particularly annoying, she started grabbing the cored Blapples and cutting them into slices for me. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of knowing I appreciated the help. However, after coring all but 2 Blapples, Anatir giggled and slashed at me with her knife, leaving a deep cut on my left wrist. I recoiled, stepping away from the counter to keep blood from tainting the blue fruit. "Anna, what the fuck?" I shouted, and Anatir simply swayed side to side, covering her mouth innocently with one hand.
"Oopsie."
She giggled again.
"I'm so clumsy."
"Out," I said, yanking the knife out of her hand, setting it on the counter, and pushing her back toward the living room. "Get out! Out of my house!"
"Reitanna, it was just a joke!"
"Hilarious! Now get out!" Anna ducked away from my hands, dropped to her knees, and crawled away from me quicker than a person should be able to move. Then again, she wasn't technically a person, I suppose. I looked around my living room, confused, as she had completely disappeared. "Anna," I called slowly, "I know you're still here." There was yet another giggle from above me, and I looked up to see her clinging to the ceiling creepily. Snatching my Pinkie Pie cushion, I threw it at Anatir, but she simply shrieked with mirth, crawling along the ceiling like a frightening ghost in a horror movie. The pillow ricocheted off of the ceiling and hit the picture of Senpai I had that was hanging on the wall. It fell to the floor and the glass shattered. "Ooh, Anna, you're in trouble now," I said sternly. "Eop Mess isn't gonna be happy about that."
"Oh, boo-hoo! It's just a picture!"
Anatir replied childishly. She was now on my wall next to the chimney, smiling at me as she hung upside down. "Get down!" I cried, and Anna finally dropped back to the floor, skipping over to me. Growling to myself, I rubbed my wrist where the cut was. I had completely forgot about it as I chased Anatir around. I observed my living room and gasped, seeing spots of blood everywhere. "Ugh!" Just then, Anatir dropped to the floor again, but this time she was sobbing hysterically.
"I do everything wrong! Everything is my fault!"
I watched her cry, and I started feeling guilty. That was one of our many flaws. As she had said, everything is our fault. "Come here," I said softly, getting on my knees and pulling her close. She clutched my shirt like a desperate toddler, continuing to sob. During one of our episodes, this was the only time I ever saw her close her eyes. They were shut tight as tears continued to pour out, and I rocked her back and forth. "Do you want to snuggle, Paka?" Anatir sniffled, looking at me and wiping her nose. She nodded, lip trembling. Standing up, I climbed the stairs and went through the open trap door to my bedroom. Paka was curled up on my bed like a fluffy pillow. I made clicking sounds with my tongue to get his attention, and he trilled excitedly, fluttering over to me immediately. "Paka, I know you don't like her," I said, "but I need you to let Anna pet you, okay?" Paka knelt low to the floor, his ears pulled back as he growled in protest. "Come on, if we don't cheer her up quick, I'm gonna get brought down too. We need to stop it before it starts." Paka gave an annoyed huff, but followed me back downstairs. Anatir had stopped crying by now, but had curled up into a ball on the floor, her eyes staring dismally into nothing. Paka trotted up to her with another little trill and rubbed his head against her leg like a cat. The only thing she moved was her eyes, which watched Paka emotionlessly as he purred. He bowed on his front paws playfully, barking at her cutely. Finally, after Paka had tickled her nose with the puff on his tail, Anatir let out a squeal and sat up, grabbing him and snuggling him tightly. Paka gave me a look that said, "Look what you've done." I walked over and joined them on the floor, rubbing Anna's back comfortingly. "You okay?" I asked her softly, and she smiled happily at me.
"I'm never okay."
She gave Paka one last scratch behind the ear, and then let him hop away. I looked around at all the bloodstains, sighing heavily, and then inspected my cut. It had clotted now, so it wasn't dripping blood anymore. "Look, how about you help me bake the pie?" I said to Anna gently, and she smiled sweetly.
"Really?"
she said excitedly. "Yeah," I replied, "but first we gotta take some candy, okay?"
"Oh, why do I have to?"
she whined. "Because we're getting worse, much worse. I don't want this happening again, understand?" Anatir pouted, looking away and crossing her arms.
"Okay,"
she mumbled. I stood up once more and walked to the bathroom. After applying a bandage to my cut, I dug in a drawer and fished out 2 little bottles. When I returned to the living room, I saw Anna standing and staring at me, waiting expectantly. Then I opened the bottles and gave her 1 piece of candy from each, and then took some for myself. We both popped them into our mouths and swallowed. "There, see, that wasn't so bad." Anatir shrugged, still pouty. I saw her eyes fall on one of the larger blood spots, and she looked guilty.
Ray,
she said slowly.
you can make the pie. I'll clean this all up."
"You sure?"
"Yeah."
"Thank you. Don't forget to repair the picture frame, all right?" As Anna nodded, I returned to the kitchen. I saw Paka sitting on the bar counter, watching me patiently. I noticed some blood on my kitchen floor and sighed again, grabbing a bottle of bitch bleach from the cupboard under the sink, a dirty rag, and starting to clean up. Anatir and I went through this every now and then. I wasn't kidding when I said we were getting worse. The cuts never hurt bad, not anymore. They felt more like the type of burn you'd get if you accidentally set your wrist down on a hot flat iron for a millisecond. Honestly, the only reason I ever bandaged it up was because I didn't want it to open again if I accidentally rubbed against something. When I finished cleaning up the linoleum, I washed my hands and returned to the chopped blapples, preparing them for baking. I gave Paka one of the cores to chew on while I worked in silence, thinking about everything that had transpired moments ago. I couldn't deny that Anna was important to me. She just caused a lot of problems when we were unstable. Her emotions changed so fast, it takes a moment to figure out what on earth had just happened to upset her. But I have to be careful. If she gets really bad, she'll come after me, and then I'm truly in physical danger. It's hard to figure her out, honestly, and it's quite frustrating to deal with her roller coaster of emotions, but she was still part of my life, and I don't think I'd be the same without her. About an hour later, the Blapple Pie was baked, and I set it on the counter to cool. I tapped Paka gently on the head to get his attention, and he trilled in surprise. I pointed at the pie. "Hot," I said firmly. "No touch!" Vulpilians are extremely smart, and I could tell he understood, for he fluttered to the floor and bounded back into the living room. I followed him and was surprised to see how clean it was. Anatir was sitting on the couch and watching the Sticky the Female Madman cartoon. "Hey," I said, and she looked around at me.
"Hi,"
she replied contently. "You feeling okay now?" I asked.
"Yeah, I'm fine. Is the pie ready?"
"It needs to cool." I walked over and joined her on the couch. Anna lay her head on my lap, snuggling comfortingly.
"Wanna come to the city with me later and ride the coaster?"
she asked. I frowned. "Anatir, that thing will kill me," I reminded her.
"Nah, it'll be fun. I know you've always wanted to ride it."
"Maybe another time. I don't feel very adventurous right now." In truth, yes, I wanted to ride the euthanasia coaster, but I'm still human, and it would kill me. I wasn't sure if I wanted to give up on my life in Smilesville quite yet. Besides, I wasn't sure if Anatir would live if I died. Sure, she can ride the coaster no problem, so it didn't affect her alone, but I was pretty sure it'd damage her if I went too. After another 10 minutes, I pushed Anna off of me and entered the kitchen to cut up the pie. I was excited, for Blapple Pie was my favorite next to the white chocolate cream pie from the local bakery. No matter how hard I try to make that one, it's just never the same. I took a slice to Anna tier and sat on the couch again. Paka started staring at my plate expectantly, his tail waving back and forth. I wagged my finger at him. "No begging!" I said. Anatir and I ate our slices of pie as we watched cartoons. Anna finished hers before me and set the plate on the table. "I should probably head home," she said, though she sounded as though she really didn't want to leave. "If you want," I said, smiling at my deranged little monster, "you can spend the night, but you have to promise to behave. Got it?" She hesitated, twiddling her index fingers nervously. "Can I play with your toys?" she asked pathetically, and I rolled my eyes. "Of course you can."
Yay!
Anatir gave me a hug and automatically sprinted up to my room. "I didn't mean right now!" I shouted, but it was a pointless effort. As I set my empty plate on the table, I saw Paka scratching at the window, so I stood and opened it to let him play outside. "Be back before the moonflowers bloom," I told him, and he flew out, probably to try and catch flutter yarns in Sweetleaf Forest. Laying my head on my Pinkie Pie cushion, I watched TV for a little while longer, relaxing after such an eventful day. Tomorrow will bring more surprises, more problems, and more things to be thankful for. Such is the day in the life of me, Reitanna Seishin, and so will be in years to come.